Good morning, everyone. This is Narshara. So, our topic for today is all about the partograph. Okay, so let's start. So, guys, a partograph is a tool to help in the management of labor, and it guides us as birth attendants to identify women whose labor is delayed and therefore decide appropriate action. So, this is an example of a partograph. This is a partograph form. As you can see, this is color coded. You can see here the green part, the yellow part, and the red part. Okay. So, nandyan po yan mga colors na yan because may reason kung bakit nandyan yan. Hindi yan nilagay dyan just for the sake of art yan or what. But may different purpose kung bakit color-coded si partograph. So, what are the objectives of this lecture? First, in order for you to understand the concept of the World Health Organization on partograph, and if you understand the concept of the partograph, you will be able to explain to the mothers the significance of the graph. Next is to record observations accurately on the graph. And third is for you to interpret the recorded findings, recognize deviation from the norm, and of course, in order for you to decide on timely referent. During monitoring of labor, you need also to monitor the progress of labor. You need to note the cervical dilatation, the contraction pattern, the maternal well-being. Of course, you need to note the pulse, the temperature, the blood pressure, and if ilang beses na nag-void ng urine si mother. Of course, you need to also to monitor the fetal well-being. You need to record the fetal heart rate and the pattern of the FHT and the color of the amniotic fluid. Okay, what are the parts of the partograph? Okay, let's go to the parts. This color-coded part indicates the progress of labor, while on the lower part indicates the maternal and fetal well-being. So as you can see, there are two parts, okay? The upper one, which indicates the progress of labor, and the lower part, which indicates the maternal and fetal well-being. So, as you can see on the upper part, that indicates the progress of labor of the mother, there are different numbers here to side, and that indicates the cervical dilatation from 4 cm, which is the start of the active labor. If we will rely on the cervical dilatation, one of the characteristics of being in an active labor is the cervical dilatation is at 4 centimeters. So, from 4 centimeters, makikita nyo dito up to 10 centimeters. Okay? So, ito po mga pahigang lines. Yan. It indicates the cervical dilatation. And the partograph, guys, has two lines. And this is very important sa partograph. So, this line na nakikita nyo po, the intersection between the green and the yellow line, is the what you call the alert line. Okay? Please don't forget the alert line. And guys, 4 hours parallel to the right, wherein it is in the intersection of the yellow and the red line, is the what we call the action line. Okay po? Please don't forget these two lines because this is very important. Okay? Okay. What are the conditions that do not need the use of partograph? First, if your patient is having an antepartum hemorrhage, because of course you need to refer that ASAP to the nearest or hospital. Next, if your client is experiencing severe preeclampsia and eclampsia. Third, if your client has fetal distress. Fourth, if your client has previous cesarean section. Fifth, if your client has multiple pregnancy. And sixth, if your client has malpresentation. If she has very premature baby. And of course, if she has obvious obstructed labor. In recording the findings to the partograph, guys, you need to start by labeling the record with pertinent patient identifying information. So what are these? So please don't forget to label the partograph and put first the name of your client. You can put also her OB scoring, her GPT PAL. Don't ever forget her age, and of course, the date kung kailan niyo po ginawa yung partograph niyo. Okay? So, in all, also guys, in plotting the progress of labor, plot only the cervical dilatation using the symbol X. I know some of you, kinakalimutan na yung mga exes nila, especially if may hindi magandang kwento or past with their ex. But this time, guys, you need to remember your exes. For this case lang naman, because you need to use the symbol X in plotting the cervical dilatation. Next, start when the woman is in active labor or is about 4 centimeter cervical dilatation or more and is contracting adequately for about 3 to 4 contractions in 10 minutes. Okay, I told you a while ago that you need to remember where is the alert line and the action line. That these two lines are very important before plotting the partograph. Okay? So here is why. Because guys, on plotting in the partograph, please always start on the alert line. Okay? So remember, where is our alert line? Here is our alert line. Okay? So for example, Mrs. X, a G2P1 client, came to your facility at around 6 a.m. Initial IE was 6 a.m. 6 centimeter cervical dilatation. So again, you need to start on the alert line. And since this is your alert line, so initial IE of Mrs. X is 6 cm, so you put here your X. Okay? What if, for example, your client, another client, Mrs. Y, came to your facility with an initial internal examination of 8 cm cervical dilatation? Since we need to start plotting on your alert line. This is your alert line. Initial IE is 8 centimeters. So you put your X here. Okay? So, how about guys if your client, another client came to your facility, let's say for example, Mrs. Z. So, what if dumating si Mrs. C at 4 cm cervical dilatation as her initial IE, initial internal examination. So, where is your 4 cm? And please take note, you need to start on the alert line. So guys, since this is the alert line again, and this is 4 cm, so plot your 4 cm there. Okay? So after plotting your X, you need also to indicate the time the IE was made and therefore the observation was plotted. Okay? You need to write the time the IE was made in the vertical line itself where you plot the X, not the space after it. So, since your latest IE is, your initial IE at Mrs. Z is at 4 cm cervical dilatation, let's say for example, you examine Mrs. Z at around 8 in the morning, so 4 cm, you need to put the time dito sa vertical line. Okay, you need to put 8 a.m. here. Okay, dito po. Because guys, this vertical line indicates the time you made your IE or internal examination. Di ba po, I mentioned earlier na itong mga pahigang linyang to indicates the cervical dilatation. While this vertical line indicates the time you made or you examine your client. Okay? What if, for example, Mrs. V came to your facility at around 4 p.m. Okay, 4 p.m. yesterday. So you put there 4 p.m. Okay? So you need also to take note that in performing internal examination, you don't do this every hour. Okay? Performing internal examination, according po sa book, ang standard is every 4 hours or more often if necessary. Okay? And plot the findings each time. So, bakit ba every 4 hours? Because guys, kung every hour nyo po siyang gagawin, frequent internal examination to your client may cause first edema of the puerperium. It can also cause infection to the mother and the child. So, ideally po, according sa book and as standard po is, you need to perform it every 4 hours. Okay? But still, guys, this is a case-to-case basis, especially if you're in a real scenario na. Okay po? So, case-to-case basis pa rin po. Okay, guys? So, also, do not forget to write the time each observation was made. So, ano po ba yun? Let's have an example. So, since your latest examination to Mrs. Z is at 4 p.m. with 4 cm cervical dilatation, Di ba nga, you need to perform every 4 hours. Okay? So, dumating si Mrs. C at 4 p.m., 4 p.m. So, after 4 hours, since sabi ko nga kanina, according sa book and standard na every 4 hours na IE sa client, so let's count. After 4 hours, ilan na kaya yung cervical dilatation ni Mrs. Z after mo mag-examine? So, let's see. So, 4 p.m. dumating. So, naisip mo, so, after 4 hours, ako mag-repeat ng internal examination ko. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, at 8 p.m. guys, ni-repeat mo po yung internal examination kay Mrs. C. What if at 8 p.m. Mrs. C's cervical dilatation is at 8 cm? So, since 8 p.m., this is, ayun, si 8 cm. So, plot your X there. Okay po? Then, since at 8 p.m. guys, is 8 cm na si Mrs. C, of course, diba alam natin na up to 10 centimeters ang cervical dilatation. Baka sabihin niyo naman, sabi ni ma'am, after 4 hours pa mag-IE, so ibig sabihin, babalik pa pala ako kay Mrs. C at 12 a.m. Remember, I told you also a while ago that still, this is a case-to-case basis. So, since 8 centimeters cervical dilatation na si Mrs. C, so ibig sabihin, Mrs. C is on her transition phase. Nasa transition phase na siya. And malapit na siya fully dilated. So, after 2 hours, nakita niyo po si Mrs. C sa labor room na she is now in severe pain with pain scale of 8 or 9 out of 10. So, at 10 p.m., she is also verbalizing na parang natatain na siya. So, alam nga naman, hindi mo pa siya i-repeat IE. Kasi nga, stick ka dun sa every 4 hours. So, guys, again, it is still case-to-case basis. Okay? So, at 10 p.m., since nakita mo na in pain na masyado si Mrs. Z at nag-verbalize na siya na natatay na siya, may feeling na siyang natatay. So, ni-repeat mo po yung IE kay Mrs. C. And at 10 p.m., Mrs. C now is at 10 centimeter cervical dilatation. Kumbaga, fully dilated na si Mrs. Z. So, 10. So, this is 10 centimeters. So, put your X here. Ayun. Okay? Then, after that, guys, you need to connect the X's to demonstrate the pattern of labor. Okay, guys. I know na hindi natin dapat inutuhog yung mga X's natin. Diba? Bad yun. Pero this time, kailangan nating ituhog sila. Kailangan nyo ituhog yung mga X's nyo dito lang sa partograph in order for you to demonstrate the pattern of labor. Ayun. Okay? So, let's have an example. A G1PO is being monitored by a midwife. Her initial IE at 1 a.m. showed 5 cm cervical dilatation. Okay. So, pangalanan natin itong mother na to as Mrs. V. Okay? Of course, diba, you need to start by labeling pertinent findings of the client. So, may iba pong partograph sa ibang facility. Like, for example, in our facility, at Paul Babemoc facility, meron po dito sa taas na space And may nakalagay dyan. So, mag-fill up ka lang. Name. Dito pala. Name. Age. Address. Then, date and time. Admitted si client. Dito yung LMP. EDC. AOG. And the OB scoring. Okay po? So, SAM, if walang space dyan, SAM po, dito nila nilalagay yung pertinent findings ng client. Yung personal finding or info ng client. The name, the age, the address, the OB scoring, and of course, the date and time na pinarform mo or ginawa mo yung partograph mo. Okay? So, let's say for example, this is Mrs. B. So, right here, Mrs. B, G1PO. Then, today is September 19, 2021, 8 a.m. Okay? So, ayun guys. So, let's go now with the case. So, a G1PO mother is being monitored by a midwife and her initial IE at 1 a.m. showed 5 cm dilated cervix. Again, saan nga po tayo kailangan mag-start in plotting? Diba? We need to start on the alert line. So, paulit-ulit ako dito guys kasi marami pong naku-confuse regarding dito, okay? So, please don't forget this alert line, okay? So, you need to start plotting in the alert line. So, since 5 centimeters, here is 5 centimeters, and yung IE pong ginawa is at 1 a.m. So, put here 1 a.m. So, at 5 a.m., kasi diba, after 4 hours, i-repeat niya yung IE niya. So, at 5 a.m., another IE showed 9 cm dilated cervix. So, let's count. 1, so 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and 5 a.m. So, at 5 a.m., I mean, internal examination to Mrs. B showed 9 cm dilated cervix. So, 9 cm guys. Ano yung 9 cm? There. So, plot your X here and write the time. Of course, you need to connect your X's. And at 7 in the morning, the patient is now 10 cm dilated cervix with intact bowel. So, 5, 6, 7 a.m. at 10 centimeter cervical dilatation. Okay po? Then, connect your X's. Okay, are we clear with plotting the partograph? If yes, let's now distinguish abnormal from abnormal labor pattern. Okay? Since you know now how to plot the partograph, you know now how to plot the cervical dilatation, so let's now distinguish abnormal from abnormal labor pattern. So, the progress of labor is normal if plotting stays on the alert line or to the left of the alert line or the green part. So, dito nyo mas lalong mabibigyan ng pansin kung bakit color-coded si partograph. Because, guys, your plotting that stays on the alert line or to the left or dito sa green part ng alert line indicates normal progress of labor. You should note that on the structure of the partograph, as soon as 4 cm is reached the cervix, so it should dilate normally at a rate of 1 centimeters equal or more than to 1 centimeters per hour. So, ayan po. So, next, plotting that passes the alert line. Okay, ibig sabihin, nakapass na siya dun sa green part. Nandito na siya sa yellow part. And more so, if it reaches the action line, diba? Ito yung action line natin, or the red part, guys, it indicates abnormal progress of labor. Okay? So, are we clear about it? So, you will ask me, and so, ma'am, if the plotting passes the alert line, okay? If plotting passes the alert line, you need to reassess the woman and consider referral if facilities are not available to deal with obstetric emergencies unless delivery is imminent. When we say imminent delivery, guys, ibig sabihin, pagkadating ni patient, it's either fully dilated na, ilalabas niya na, isang ere lang, ayan na, or nandyan na mismo yung head ni baby. So, magka-catch ka na lang. So, in that manner, in that case, ang kailangan mo na lang gawin is saluhin yung baby and i-make sure na safe yung delivery ni mother. Okay? So, if plotting passes also the alert line, you need to alert the transport services. Okay? Especially, guys, if you don't have your own transport service or if you don't have an ambulance in your facility, okay? So, kung medyo malayo pa yung panggagalingan ni ambulance, i-alerta nyo na sila. And of course, you need to monitor the mother intensively. And if plotting naman reaches the action line, the patient must be already in an EMOC facility and a decision made about the cause of slow progress and appropriate action taken. Okay? So, sa mga facilities po na mga nasa far-flung area, like for example, our facility na nasa Upland unit of Ligao, so it took us around 2 hours to reach the referring hospital, which is BRTTH, or Bicol Regional Training and Teaching Hospital. So, guys, hindi na talaga namin hinihintay po na makareach pa sa action line si mother before kami mag-refer sa client. Okay? Kumbaga, nasa yellow line and approaching pa lang ng red line and upon clinical judgment is nakikita namin na slow yung progress of labor ni mother and mukhang hindi normal ang progress of labor ni mother. So, nire-refer na po namin, okay? Most especially na Paul BEMOC facility has its own ambulance or transport vehicle. So, kaya madali lang din sa amin ang mag-refer. Yun nga lang, yung distance between the facility to the referring hospital, medyo malayo. Kaya nga, hindi na namin hinihintay pa na maka-reach sa red line si client before kami gumalaw or before kami mag-refer sa client. So, okay na? So, we're done doon sa upper part that indicates the progress of labor. So, let's now go on with the next part or yung sa lower part. Diba, yung sinabi ko po that it indicates the maternal and fetal well-being. So, as you can see, these different findings po na kailangan yung i-monitor also alongside with the cervical dilatation and sa plotting ng cervical dilatation. You need also to monitor the following. Okay? And these findings to note and record during IE. So, let's say for example, sa status of membrane, pag sinabi po natin membrane, this refers to the bag of water. Okay? So, if the bag of water or if the membrane is intact, right eye. If it's ruptured, you need to note the color of the amniotic fluid. Okay? If upon internal examination, then napansin niyo po na yung lumalabas na discharge or amniotic fluid ni mother, if ever man na ruptured na yung bag of water, write C if it is clear, M if it is meconium stained, A if it is absent, and B if it is bloody. Okay, after noting the color of the amniotic fluid, you need also to monitor every 4 hours and record the findings of the blood pressure of the mother, the pulse rate, the temperature, and the urine voided. Okay, if nag-void ng urine si mother, yes or no. And if yes, please indicate if how frequent yung pag-void ng urine ni mother. Kasi baka in the span of 1 hour, the mother void for more than 5 times. So, it is not normal. Yun pala, you thought it's a urine. Yun pala, the bag of water is leaking na. So, of course, need to know also. You need also to monitor more frequently and record the findings of the number of contractions in 10-minute period. You need also to note the fetal heart rate in 1 full minute. And if ever that a woman is admitted in latent phase of labor, or it means that the cervical dilatation of the mother, if ang pagbabasihan natin na characteristic is cervical dilatation, a mother is on a latent phase if less than 4 centimeters ang cervical dilatation na. And if ganon yung case, you need to record only other findings like the BP, the FHT, and the other findings dun sa baba. And if she remains in latent phase for next 8 hours, the labor is prolonged, and that is a reason for you to transfer her to the hospital. Okay, let's have some exercises. So, indicate whether the progress of labor in the following photographs are normal or abnormal. Case number 1. Is this a normal or abnormal progress of labor? Okay, right. This is a normal progress of labor. How about this? As you can see, it passes to the action line. So, this is an abnormal progress of labor. Case number 3 is still on the alert line. So, this is a normal progress of labor. So now, let's plot the observations in the following cases. Maria, a G2P1, was admitted today at 2 a.m. IE showed a 5 centimeters dilated cervix, cephalic, with an intact bow, and with a BP of 110/70, pulse rate of 88 beats per minute, and the mother is a febrile with an FHC of 140 over 140 per minute. 140 beats per minute. Okay? Next, she had moderate contractions for about 3 in 10 minutes. And at 6 a.m., the bag of water ruptured with clear amniotic fluid. IE showed 8 cm dilated cervix. Vital signs were the same. And at 8 a.m., cervix was 9 centimeters, and she delivered spontaneously at 8:30 a.m. 10 units of cytosine was given IM, and the placenta was delivered complete at 8:35 in the morning. So this is the sample partograph for Maria. So at 2 a.m., Maria is at 5 centimeters cervical dilatation. So 2 a.m. Na-move lang to ng konti. So the findings po, you will write here in the vertical line. Parallel mismo kung saan nyo nilagay yung time na ginawa nyo yung IE mo. So, dito siyang dapat. Nag-move lang po ng konti kasi naka-PDF naka-PDF file. So, pag PDF file, minsan nag-move yung mga digits. So, dito sa line, so, wala namang sinabing vaginal bleeding ni Maria. The amniotic fluid is intact. So, dito. The fetal heart tone is 140 beats per minute. The temperature, sinabi dito na a febrile si mother. So, pag sinabi natin a febrile, di ba, wala siyang fever. So, let's say, for example, kung mag-a-assume tayo, so, since nakalagay naman dito na a febrile, so we can put here 37. Then, the pulse is 88. Then, the blood pressure is 110 over 70. Yun lang po kasi yung findings na binigay dun sa case scenario, okay? So, at 6 a.m., the bowel ruptured with clear amniotic fluid. And IE showed at 8 cm dilated cervix and vital signs were the same. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 a.m. at 8 cm cervical dilatation. So, she had moderate contractions of about 3 in 10 minutes. So, contractions niya in 10 minutes is 3. The amniotic fluid is clear. And still wala pong tigsabi na may vaginal bleeding na si Maria. So, still 0. So, vital signs were the same. So, again guys, andito po yan. Nag-move lang si mga digits. So, still the same. So, 88, 37. So, you put here 110 over 70 pa. Then, at 8 a.m., cervix was 9 centimeters, and she delivered spontaneously at 8:30 a.m. 10 units of oxytocin was given IM, and the placenta was delivered complete at 8:35 in the morning. So 6, 7, 8 in the morning at 9 centimeter cervical dilatation. So at 8 in the morning, 9 cm siya. So wala po to guys. Supposed to be this one po. Ito is dito po siya sa 6 AM na findings. Kasi yung findings doon same yung vital signs with the 2 AM vital signs. Nag-move lang to guys ha. Ito ang part na to. Ito may 148 and 110/17. Okay? So 8 AM po, 9 cm si mother. Tapos nasabi po dito na she delivered spontaneously at 8:30 AM and yung 10 units of oxytocin was given at 8:35 AM. So, because of that finding, so after 8 AM, so dun po nanganak si Maria. So that is why nag-assume tayo dito na in between this 8 and 9 dito sa gitna, dito po nanganak si Maria. Kaya nilagyan ko pa dito ng X. To show you lang na dito sa part na to, sa time na to, nanganak si Maria. So, nag-assume ako na 10 centimeters na dito si Maria. Okay? Kaya nilagyan ko pa dito ng X. Pero, pwede nyo rin pong hindi na to ilagay. Hanggang dito na lang kayo sa 9 centimeters. Okay? For the purpose lang of teaching, of showing you, kaya nilagyan ko pa po dito ng 10 centimeters kasi nag-assume ako na nanganak si Maria. After 8 AM. That is why, ito po, at 8:30 AM, nagbigay ng oxytocin kay Maria at 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 AM. And at 35 is na-deliver yung placenta. So, okay guys, I hope with this lecture, you are now confident in plotting the partograph. So, I'll be giving you sample exercises for you to check your ability on plotting the partograph. So, exercises will be posted on your Google Classroom. So, I hope everyone has its own copy of the partograph form. Forms will be posted also in your Google Classroom. Please check your Google Classroom from time to time. So, guys, that is all about on plotting in your partograph. So, thank you guys for listening attentively, and I hope that this time you will enjoy on plotting your partograph. Also guys, I attach here on my partograph lecture is a video on cervical assessment. Of course, it involves internal examination, which is very important in plotting your partograph. So, here is the video.
Hi, I'm Marvin Roy Labasa, third-year medical student from the University of Cebu School of Medicine. And today I will be demonstrating how to do your cervical assessment examination. Take note that if you are a male, you should have a female companion in the examination room with you, preferably a member of the medical staff. Cervical assessment involves insertion of your 2 fingers into the vagina of the patient. This is to assess the cervical dilation, cervical effacement, state of the membrane, whether it is intact or ruptured, to determine the fetal presenting part, the fetal position and the fetal station, as well as to determine the cervical position and consistency. Thoroughly explain the procedure to the patient. before starting, ask the patient to empty her bladder. Place the patient in a dorsal-lithotomy position with her buttocks at the edge of the examination table. Make sure to demonstrate asepsis during the whole procedure. Put on examination gloves and apply lubricant. Extend the index and middle fingers and flex the ring and little fingers. Thumb should be pointing up. Separate the labia with your other hand. The labia can also be separated using the ring and little fingers of the examining hand. Insert the index and middle fingers of the examining hand carefully into the vagina. Determine the cervical dilatation. Cervical dilatation is determined by estimating the average diameter of the cervical opening by sweeping the examining fingers from the margin of the cervical opening on one side to that on the opposite side. The diameter traversed is estimated in centimeters. The cervix is said to be dilated fully when the diameter measures 10 centimeters. Now determine the cervical effacement. The degree of cervical effacement is usually expressed in terms of the length of the cervical canal compared with that of an uneffaced cervix. When the length of the cervix is reduced by 1/2, it is 50% effaced. When the cervix becomes as thin as the adjacent lower uterine segment, it is completely or 100% effaced. The position of the cervix is determined by the relation of the cervical os to the fetal head and is categorized as posterior, mid-position, or anterior. Determine the consistency of the cervix as soft, firm, or intermediate between the two. Determine the state of the membranes, whether intact or ruptured. Determine the fetal presenting part, fetal position, and fetal station. The presenting part is palpated and differentiation, whether it is vertex, face, or breech, is accomplished. If the vertex is presenting, the fingers are directed posteriorly and then swept forward over the fetal head towards the symphysis pubis. The linear course of the sagittal suture is delineated. The position of the two fontanelles are ascertained. The fingers are passed to the most anterior extension of the sagittal suture, and the fontanelle examined is identified. Then, with a sweeping motion, the fingers are passed along the suture to the other end of the head until the other fontanelle is felt and differentiated. Identify the triangular-shaped posterior fontanelle and the diamond-shaped anterior fontanelle. The station or extent to which the presenting part has descended into the pelvis can also be established. Determine the location of the lowermost portion of the fetal head in relation to the ischial spines. Document and explain the findings to the patient and inform her what to expect after the procedure. Ask the patient for any questions or clarifications.